What's up, good people? What's up, good people? It's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder, coming to you from the brand new suite. It's another Mindset, Motivate, Move Monday. Y'all know what we do on Mondays. We get our mindset right, we get motivated, and we move. Move means we take action. We are taking action this week. So I need you to get ready, get pumped, get excited. And here's why. Here's why is because we are 6 months in. We are 6 months in now to the year of 2024. It's halftime, baby. It is halftime. So what do we do at halftime? We have to do a review of how the first 6 months went for us. Y'all know every team in basketball, football, hockey. I don't know if soccer has a halftime. Tennis doesn't have a halftime. Boxing doesn't have halftime. But basketball and football have a halftime. They have a halftime because they have to do, and then at halftime, what the coaches do, they do an assessment of the first half. They take a look back at how they performed in the first half. And I want to ask you, this is what we're doing all this week. It's halftime, but it's actual game. It's your game plan. What's your strategy for the second half of this year? We're going to talk this week about your different strategies that you have. We're going to talk about what it is that you're going to be doing this, not only this week, but what you're going to be doing for the next 6 months. What are you going to be doing for the next 6 months in your business? You've got to plan out. You've got to plan out what it is that you're going to be doing for the next 6 months. I want you to be able to know where it is, because you should have already had your yearly plan for this year. But you also want to make sure that you're are you on track for this year? Are you on track for the next 6 months for this year? But you can't do that if you don't do a review of where you are right now and do an honest review, do an honest assessment of where you are so far in 2024. Because I want you to be able to think about this week. We're going to talk about what's your review strategy. How are you reviewing the first 6 months? I want you to review the first 6 months. That's what I want you to do today. If you haven't started already, I want you to review the first 6 months of 2024 and take a look at how your brand, your business performed. If you underperform, that's okay. Let's do an honest assessment, because I got to do the same thing. Do an honest assessment and see where you are, and then see how we get you to get where it is that you want to be. So that's what we're doing today. Tell you kind of what you need to review, the things that you review. We're going to talk about the adjustments that need to be made, because as we know, that's what football is about. Football teams do. That's what basketball teams at halftime. At halftime, they take a look at their game plan, or at least they should. If you're the Ravens, they just screwed that all up in the playoffs this year, because at halftime they didn't take a look at their game plan and make the adjustments that needed to be made. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at that, at where we are with your budget strategy, where are your finances, where the money. Are you making the money that you need to be making, or are there some adjustments that need to be made to your budget, for the next 6 months? So that you can be on, you can hit your goals as far as the budget is concerned, your finances is concerned. Then we're going to talk about marketing strategy. What's your marketing strategy for the next 6 months? What was it for the first 6 months? But what was it for the last? What is it going to be for the next 6 months? And then your branding strategy. What was your branding strategy for the first 6 months? Was that effective? Did it work? What did you do right? What did you do wrong? And then we'll talk about what is your branding strategy for the next 6 months. So that's what we're going to be looking at this week. So I want to talk about what we're talking about doing a review. You've got to reflect back. You can't move forward without first looking back, seeing what it is that you did well, seeing what it is that you didn't do well. But I want you to look at specific things. I want you to take a look at specific things. What I want you to do, your performance matters, and I want you to understand how understanding your performance, because there may be factors that impacted why things happen the way that they happen. So that's what the review is. That's what the assessment that you do will be able to show you. It's actually, for the first half, you should think about what I did well. You should think about, hey, did I actually implement the things that I wanted to implement? Did I do the things that I wanted to do? And then if I didn't, then why didn't I? What could I have done differently? And I want you to take a look, and we're going to look at these more detailed this week. But, from a financial standpoint, what were your goals each quarter and each month? And then were you able to hit those? And if you weren't, then were there reasons as to why you weren't able to? And do an honest assessment and say, I wasn't able to hit them because of this. I wasn't able to hit them because of that. This happened, that happened. This is why I was over my budget or forecast. This is why I was under my budget and forecast. I'm not going to spend much time on that today because we're going to deal with that on Wednesday when we talk about the budget. From an operational standpoint, this is really where I really want to be, an operational standpoint and a customer service standpoint. Where were you? I want you to take a look, and I want you to evaluate the efficiency of your operations. Are there things or processes and procedures that can be that need to be improved upon? Can they are they having the impact that you want them to have? I want you to take a look at them and to begin to say, okay, this worked in our first half of the year, or this did not work in the first half of the year, and say, okay, is this something that we need to adjust? Is this something that we need to kind of just tweak a little bit? Is this something or is this something that we need to just totally change because it wasn't effective? It wasn't impactful. So I need you to take a look at your business the first 6 months from an operational standpoint and your operational efficiency. Write that down. I want you to write that word down. Operational efficiency. Were you efficient at what you were doing? Did your procedures, that your processes that you have in place, were they effective, or are they effective? Or were they not as effective as you thought they were going to be? Did the CRM system that you use, did that not work for you? Or was there something that could be done that was better? Was it something as simple as your emails going out? Was it as simple as when you get a potential client that you have a process before, during, and after? Is that in place? From an operational standpoint, how efficient were you in the first 6 months of 2024? That's what I want you to look at. Hey, Doc, morning. Thanks for tuning in. And then the second thing I want you to look at is your customer feedback. Have you gotten any customer feedback? Were you good at collecting the customer feedback so that you could analyze what they were telling you? I have a client of mine, and she was concerned about, they were telling her that, there was some tweaks that needed to be made to her product, right? So I said, okay, well, let's take a look at it. They're telling you that it could be a little better with this, and it could be, but they're still interested, but they were giving you feedback to let you know what it is that you can improve upon with your product. So from a customer, take your customer feedback seriously. You want to make sure that you're listening to them, because they're the ones that are going to buy your product. They're the ones that are going to buy your service. So you want to make sure that you're listening to your customers' feedback and utilizing it. You know, I want you to take a look at your goals. What were your goals for 2024? In the first 6 months, what were your goals? What did you say that you wanted to achieve in the first 6 months? Did you reach those goals? You know, were you able to reach that target? If you were, you know, then what did you do right? I don't want you to just take a look at the negative things and say, well, what did I do wrong and what do I need to assess? You need to do that as well, because you certainly want to improve upon what it is that you're doing. But you also want to know what you want to do right. You want to give yourself a pat on the back, you know, and say, yeah, that's what we did well. We do this well. And what you want to do is just make sure that what you do well, you stay consistent at, keep doing it well. But the real work comes in working on something that you know that you can improve on. Kobe Bryant, when he worked out, he worked on a particular move over and over and over again until he mastered it. So he would spend hours just on one move, just so that he could get it right. And I want you to, you know, because when you're doing it over and over again, you're seeing what it is that you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. You're getting the mechanics right. So I want you to assess what you did, you know, what you need to improve on from the first 6 months. What did you, from a brand perspective, what did you do right? What did you, from a brand perspective, what is it that you needed to improve upon? You know, based on your, you know, your mid-year, your halftime review, of your business goals, you want to ensure that what you're aiming for was specific, that it was measurable, that it was achievable, that it was relevant, that it was time bound. Y'all know the SMART goals. Take a look at it from that perspective. Take a look at your first 6 months from a SMART goal perspective. What what you wrote down, was it specific? What it is that you wanted to do? Was it measurable? Did you give yourself a time frame, or did you give yourself something that you could measure whether or not you achieved it or not? Was it achievable? Was it realistic? Was what you said you wanted to do, was it realistic? Was it achievable? Was it relevant, or is it relevant to what it is that you're trying to do? Is it relevant from the perspective that you wanted to be able to be better by the end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year? Does it matter? Does what you're achieving really have what impact does it have, or did it have on you, your business, and your brand in the first 6 months? Did it? Was it relevant? And then you put a time frame on. We put the time frame on it because we said we wanted to achieve it in the first 6 months. So if you weren't able to achieve it in the first 6 months, then let's do an assessment of it. Say, why weren't you able to achieve it in the first 6 months? And then is it something that you can move that becomes a priority in this first quarter of the second 6 months? Because I told you, we're coming from the book, The 12-Week Year. So we're entering the third year this year, because the first quarter was the first year, the second quarter was the second year. This is the third year. And I promise you, if you stick to this system, this module, you will be, by the end of the year, you will be far ahead of anybody in your industry. You'll be far ahead of anybody that's in your mastermind. You will be far, unless they're doing the same thing that you're doing, which hopefully they might be, introduce that concept to them. And then you all, as a whole, you'll be far ahead of everybody else. And that's what I love about this. Doing this mid-year assessment, doing this halftime, it's halftime, y'all. Doing this halftime assessment, doing this halftime game plan strategy assessment, give you the ability to be able to reflect and take a look at it, whereas a lot of other people aren't doing this. So I want you to make sure of that. And then the last thing, and then I'm out of here, y'all. Last thing that we're going to do, you got to be innovative. Were you innovative in the first quarter? And looking at your review, how innovative were you? How creative were you in what it is that you wanted to achieve? You want to reevaluate how the resources that you had, you allocated them. What did you do? Were you innovative in how you were able to, that you were able to utilize what you had? Did you say that, I thought that those resources could have been used there, so that's what I used them for. But when I look back, that resource that I had actually should have gone towards this. It would have made us do more impactful work had we utilized those resources to go towards this. Take a look at it from a technology standpoint, where and if you want to utilize the social media to look at, from a technology standpoint, were you on Facebook when your target market is mainly on LinkedIn? Are you making that adjustment? Taking a look at your analyzing what you were. Do you have your digital content that you're creating? How did were you did you utilize that resource that you have? What were the resources that you were privy to? Did you utilize the mastermind that you're in to be able to run ideas by those that are part of it with you, so that they can give you some honest feedback and show you kind of what you missed in the first 6 months? Are you utilizing the resources that you have? I know that's one thing that I'm learning this week with some of the projects that I'm working on. I got resources. I got people that I can honestly go to, ask them what they think about, this, how to best approach it, what's my best means of being able to use. And I'm realizing I didn't do that in the first 6 months as much as I should have. But I promise you, in this next 6 months, I'm going to utilize that. I'm going to utilize my resources that I have. You want to ask yourself, were there, what's the market trend that you didn't see in the first 6 months that you need to see going into the next 6 months? These are all things that you want to review. That's all I'm talking about this morning. Those things that you need to review. Once you can do that review, you make the adjustments, you adapt to what's going on, and you utilize that to create or to make sure that what your goals and assignments for the next 6 months, that you're on point with them. And then by December, January, beginning of January of 2025, we'll go around and do the same thing. And doing these constant, consistent reviews, I promise you, it gives you the ability to be able to know to know what's going on with your business, with your brand. But it also gives you the idea of being able to make adjustments on the go. That many businesses, football teams, they fail in the second half of the game because they refuse to do a review. They refuse to make adjustments in their game plan. It's okay to you want to have a game plan, but it's also okay to make adjustments. You want to be able to make adjustments, and by reviewing your performance, you give yourself the ability to realign your goals, your assignments, and staying adaptable. By staying adaptable, which is what we talked about, you can strategically position your business for success in the second half of 2024. And that's the goal. I want to see you succeed in the second half of 2024. But we can't do that if we don't reflect and look back at what we did the first half of 2024. So I want you to do that today. Your homework, it's homework, is to do your review, is do an assessment, of your operational efficiency. Take a look at your customer service feedback. Take a look at the resources that you have, and did you utilize them in the first 6 months? And I want you to do an honest assessment of your business and what you did the first half. And then I want you to write down, if you haven't already, or even if you have, I want you to go back over them. Did you do it for the second half? Did you do an honest assessment? And the goals that you have, write down your goals for the second half. If this sounds like something that you want to do, hey, what's up, D? If this is something that you want to do but you're not quite sure how, connect with me. We can put this together. That's a part of my entrepreneurial briefcase. These are the things that we do. We give you the tools in order to be able to do that, to do these assessments, to be able to do the analysis that you need to do, setting up the goals that you want to have, should have for your brand, for the different aspects of the year. You know, your quarterly, monthly, quarterly, annually, semi-annually. So that we can know where our business is and where we want it to go. Because y'all know my assignment is to make you better by the end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year. But I can't do that if I'm not here talking about these particular things, if I'm not working with you in order to be able to show you how we get there. So it's your boy, Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the Impact Builder. It's Monday, y'all. I want you to have a super fantastic week. I want you to go out. The second half is here, y'all. It's halftime, y'all. I want you to, all week we talking about, it's halftime. What's your halftime game plan? What's your halftime game strategy? What are you going to do in order to be able to be successful in the second half of 2024? We'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great day. Peace.